ชาลีอันที่วารังได้ยาจะทาสันติทัสสันตาปาราชันราชาติกาเฮเสตุธันนังอนุกรรมติมังประชังทานสหังปฏิธรรมะถ้าเป็นใหญ่ในโลกชาลีสีเวน้อกายโยทุกขทาวาสันทั้งหลายนี้มีทุลีกิเลสดจงอยู่ในสาภาพระเห็นฟังคือนิพพานขอพระผู้เป็นเจ้าได้โปรดเกล้าพระประทาน
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะวันนี้ตรงกับวันอาทิตย์ที่ 16 พฤศจิกายน 2568 Today it's 16th of December 2025. Welcome to National Museum volunteers who visit us for the first time, and not all of you, but most of you for the first time. And this building is Uposatha. Uposatha is the building with Sima. Sima means boundary. So it is the most important building in the whole temple. If a full ordination is to be done, it can be done validly only when it is performed in this building, not any other building. So you just heard the invitation for the bhikkhus or bhikkhunis to give Dharma talk. This verses is reenactment from the Buddha's time. When the Buddha was enlightened, he was hesitating whether he should preach or not, because what he discovered, enlightenment, is not something that will be easily accessible, easily understood by majority of people. So he was hesitating to preach or not to preach. Brahma was concerned, as Brahma could read the mind of the Buddha. He was concerned that if the Buddha should decide not to preach, then sentient beings will not benefit from his teaching. So he came down, kneeled in front of the Buddha, bowed to the Buddha and invited the Buddha to preach. He realized that it is not easy for common people to understand, but at least classify them into 4 different groups, just like 4 different classes of lotus. Some younger ones still in the mud will eventually be eaten by fish and by turtle. Some lotus flowers coming up but still in water. Some above water, and some, the last group, the 4th one, ready to blossom but just waiting for the sunlight. That is the teaching, Dharma, of the Buddha. The Buddha is compared to the sun, just waiting for the sunlight, for the warmth of the sunlight, so that the petals would open up. So just like that, there are people who are ready for the teaching of the Buddha. And this group, this 4th group of people will benefit from the teaching. So the Buddha accepted the invitation from Brahma, and asked Brahma, proposed to the Buddha to teach. He also offered that he will become Dharma projector. So this is a connection between Brahma, the 4-faced Brahma that you see in many places connection with Buddhism. Brahma is not a Hindu god. Of course, he is a Hindu god, but in this context, we did not respect him as a Hindu god, but we respect him as someone who allow us to have the access to the teaching of the Buddha. So when you enter this building, the first statue you see is the four-faced Brahma. Out of gratitude, that's why we have the four-faced Brahma when you entered. And the story, the verses goes, and just like how Brahma invited the god to give teaching, now I invite you, meaning the people are beginning to give Dharma talk. So it's always the beginning ceremony for the monks or for the nuns to give Dharma talk. So now my turn is to offer the teaching of the Buddha. I always have to start my Sunday teaching with Namo Tassa. Namo Tassa is to pay respect to the Buddha. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. I offer my respect to the Buddha, because whatever I teach from this seat is always from the Buddha. Therefore, I have to pay respect to the Buddha. In Theravada, when we perform any rituals, verses that we do chanting is always Pali verses. Just like in Christianity, we always refer to Latin. The same way the Theravada also insists on using Pali as our language that we refer to the Buddha. The language that the teaching of the Buddha is preserved is called Pali. So the Tripitaka, the three baskets, first preserved in Pali and then written down about 500 years after the death of the Buddha in Sri Lanka. That's the first time that it was transcribed onto the palm leaves, and that's how we preserve the teaching. It is amazing to compare between Christianity and Islam. In Christianity you have one Bible, New Testament and Old Testament in one Bible. And then in Islam you have the Quran, one big book. But in Buddhism, we have 45 volumes of the teaching. So this is amazing that we have been able to preserve the teaching in a large quantity. It is true that Jesus Christ actually did his mission maybe only for 2-3 years. That's why you don't have too many teachings. But in Buddhism, the Buddha started preaching when he was 35, when he was enlightened, until he was 80. So the teaching is through 45 years. So that's why we have many more teachings recorded and preserved. The teaching of the Buddha was recorded through memory. That was the style that was done in the olden days. It was not written down because they did not want any other people to have access to the teaching. So in the beginning, it was handed down from teacher to disciple, which is called Mukhapata. Mukhapata means face to face. It was done like that for 500 years. Only when the teaching of the Buddha got to Sri Lanka, the king realized that if we allow the teaching of the Buddha to be with the monks only, when the monks disappear, should the monks disappear, the teaching of the Buddha would also be disappeared. So that was the first time when the teaching of the Buddha was transcribed onto palm leaves. Thanks to the Sri Lankan king who was far-sighted and arranged for the recording of the teaching into 45 volumes as we have of now. The teaching of the Buddha is very simple. We are here in the present moment. As we breathe, we are breathing in and breathing out. This breathing in and breathing out is our life. So our life depends on this very fragile movement of breathing in and breathing out. Our breathing in and breathing out, they are dependent. Anything that has dependent nature is not real in the true sense. Our life hangs on to this breathing in and breathing out, which is dependent. So therefore, we have to be very conscious that when we were born together with potentiality to die. Very simple fact, but it is true. So while we live, we realize that death could happen at any moment. So whatever time we have left, each one of us, we don't know. I may have less time than you, or you may have less time than me. So try to do our best. To do our best is to be in the present moment. And to dwell in the thoughts which is wholesome, speech which is wholesome, and act which is wholesome. If we keep our present moment wholesome like this, we are actually preparing ourselves for the future, because the present moment becomes the past. So when we prepare our present properly, our present moment properly, we can be sure that our future will be on the right path, will be wholesome. So the teaching of the Buddha always brings us to be aware of this present moment. The last speech before he passed away, as he was lying down among the monks who came, who gathered around him, knowing that he would pass away, his last words which he uttered was to be mindful, not to be negligent. To be mindful of what? To be mindful of this present moment, and to be not to be negligent, to keep it always wholesome, to keep our thought, our speech, and our action wholesome, always. So the teaching of the Buddha is very simple. It's very simple. Always bring us to the present moment. Once we are in the present moment, fully in the present moment, we live Buddhism. Many of the Buddhists who were born Buddhist, born in the Buddhist culture, not realizing that we have to put Buddhism in our life, which I call live Buddhism. Once we live Buddhism, then we are true Buddhist. The guiding of the Buddha's teaching is to allow each one of us to enter into the path of enlightenment. We might be doing gradual enlightenment, we might have sudden enlightenment. It depends on our own mind, The mind is that which transforms everything around us. So the teaching of the Buddha is very simple, like this. Take a deep breath. Be thankful that we are alive. And as as we breathe out, may all sentient beings be happy. We keep this practice even when we go to bed. So when we go to bed happily, may you all have a happy present moment. Thank you.